Welcome everyone to this channel about SimCity BuildIt. Yes, my friends, SimCity BuildIt is dying, SimCity is dead, SimCity BuildIt is going to die, or the game is ending. All this is what I've been hearing for years. The same as people saying that the world was ending in 2000, then 2001, then 2002, and so on for every year until the present day. And here, I'm going to tell you what's true about this, not the end of the world, but that SimCity BuildIt is dying. That I can tell you that very little or nothing. But let me tell you, because I'm going to do it in a very different way than you think. Let's start with this special video, because it has intensity. My name is Atlantis. I belong to the Isla Atlas Club. As you can see, I opened section 5 of the channel, which is going to be an opinion section. That is to say, my opinion, the opinion of Atlantis on many topics of SimCity BuildIt. Let me remind you that the Isla Atlas Discord server is enabled, where all of us who are part of Isla Atlas and many other friends are sharing information about the game. I don't know if the Discord server will be promoted at the time this video is released, so if you can find it, you will have to access it through the link I leave in the description. Well, I couldn't start in any other way than explaining the usual song when a new update of the game comes out, which by the way comes out at least every month. If you have been playing the game for a while, this will sound familiar to you. But I'm going to give you my opinion of all this. Sometimes this kind of commentary moves through social networks, through forums, even through EA's official forums, but I'm going to speak with the data. It's not that I'm going to say this is not or this is. I am going to give you data so that you understand that what I tell you is reliable, credible. Look, it happened with the design challenge when that update came out, it happened with the club wars, it happened with the trains, it happened with smaller things, such as the famous Super Services Pass, but I think that people like to give their opinions without knowing how to support the things they say with any real basis. I throw the ball and let's see who gets it. It is a Spanish saying, I hope it is understood in English in the same way. And that is precisely what I'm not going to do in this section. I'm going to talk to you about data, real data, so that no one can tell you next time something like what you hear, and you think, is it true? No, of course not. Behind the game is EA Games, which you know what it is, a beastly company listed on the stock exchange, so I'm not going to be the one to say what kind of company it is, and even more so with what I'm going to say next. Because we are dealing with a company, EA Games, which annually earns $5.5 billion and whose net profit reaches $1.5 billion in 2020, data taken from Wikipedia. But it announces revenues of $2.3 billion in just one quarter of 2023, which it earns with each passing year, reaching a year-on-year rate of profit growth of 3%. And this is no longer from Wikipedia, these are the financial results offered by the company, which I have bothered to look up. We are going to beat its own record every year that passes. And why am I telling you all this? Well, because no company of this size shoots itself in the foot, making a game which is the most downloaded of the entire catalog of EA mobile games may eventually go down. To maintain the game, EA Games expressly creates a subsidiary, locates it in Europe, and makes it only dedicated to that game. You can see the magnitude of what I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to give you an example with the trains in the game, taking advantage of the fact that you are watching a train tour around my city. When they came out, I was not lucky enough to be selected in any of my cities to see them in detail. I had to wait for the rest to see them. I say this because when other important disciplines of the game came out, I was able to see them before anyone else, but not this time. In that time period, people talk, and we were in 2023, and oh my gosh, what was there to be heard? It was a blitz. I was convincing myself that it was a thing that was hardly going to contribute anything. Then I looked at them with skepticism, and I started to do them just to see a little, not without disenchantment. And I was doing them and I said, hey, and why do I like it? Until my dear colleague Bodge showed me a train ride through his city, with my mouth open. I said to myself, but what is this? I had seen a video on YouTube that made this kind of vision, this kind of tour. And I thought he was doing it through hacking, or by using some game emulator for Windows, because really the one I saw was a hacker. And no, this was the sense of the trains. After that, I started to hear that the game was going to close, that they were doing it wrong. And many people asked me if we weren't going to be able to play anymore. Bull. But what company implements something like SimCity's trains to close down? But what are you saying? Do you know the amount of resources, staff, graphic designers, and feedback that this needs to not remain as a bug in the game? Please, let's be serious. They implemented the trains because it is spectacular, and because this keeps the game in its place in the #1 of city simulator games, not as a city management game, but as a, how should I say, creative game. I've used this word more than once, but that's just the way it is. It is a striking game for its graphic beauty, but also if it is understood as an infinite game, which I already said what it was. I will take another video opinion on this, because we are facing a game that remains at #1 because it deserves it. And what I was saying, I'm going off topic, all that amount of resources they have spent on making something like trains is not to close it in 2 days. A game #1 in downloads of the entire Electronic Arts catalog, a game that obviously brings profits, that is not done to let it die. Why EA Games is going to shoot itself in the foot? And forgive me for repeating the analogy, but I like it because it is very well understood. I do not know within the results announced by the American company what share belongs to SimCity BuildIt, because there are much more important games, no doubt. But we are facing a basic pillar, not only of simulator games, but at the reputation level, a basic icon. When you talk about EA Games, FIFA, or Need for Speed, and inevitably The Sims, SimCity, and many others comes to mind. But the other way around is the same. You see SimCity and you associate it directly with EA as soon as you are a bit of a gamer. Everything brings profits to EA Games, both directly and indirectly. And if the company doesn't stop growing, it's for a reason. Is SimCity Build going to die? Of course not. But it can die for older devices. Yes, because this game has some requirements, and some requirements that, in my opinion, for the type of game it is, very high, but seeing the trains and the graphic quality in general, it is understood that this is so. So, if someone asks you if SimCity BuildIt is going to close, be clear. Continuing with the trains, as I have told you at some point, the trains need your feedback, your improvements, your movement, even your slaps, but the programming of this is complex, and they are setting it as a priority. Nobody in a company wants to do things wrong. And they will make mistakes, and they make mistakes in many things, but little by little they are correcting their mistakes. I am going to make one more point. It could also happen that those people who announce so much that SimCity is going wrong and so on, could be people who specially hate this game because of something personal, or they hate the game because they are someone from the competition, or they are simply haters and want to be the center of attention. There will always be all kinds. But those of us who play this game should know where the game stands, how it has developed, and how it is developing and evolving. I just look forward to the day when I can say, the crackers in the game are dead. That will be a wonderful day in the life of all mayors. I hope that the initiative that I sent them a few months ago, and that many of you signed with proposals to eradicate them, will take effect. They will consider them because it was quite studied, and they will implement them, which is the difficult part, so that we can enjoy the game even more than we do today. When I see new players to the game and to Club Wars fighting crackers, how much their spirits can fade. By the way, developers know this, and this is something they know they must correct and eradicate because it is their most direct problem, or at least that's how I see it. but I'm no visionary or anything like that. I just observe. And if I do, I can imagine how much they do. We'll keep giving a little leeway for that cracker eradication, and I hope it's the next serious evolution we see. I can only hope that these opinion videos are not boring, because I intend to comment and give my opinion on game topics that I find most interesting. So I hope you also find it interesting. To all of you who stayed until the end of the video, thank you for your attention. Those who stayed only in the title of the video, they will be the typical people who will do again and again the same thing, filling the social networks with nonsense declarations. And they are even able to say, look, how I was right. Atlantis says it now in a video that I have seen. Well, no, that video, which will be this video, is about the opposite. Time always proves them right. I hope you liked it. If you want to be aware of videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you become an exclusive member, you will see top-level videos that could help you a lot with the game. See you at SCBI. Greetings to all.